In March 1990, while Chris Cornell was touring through New York with Soundgarden, his best friend Andrew Wood had just left rehab a few days earlier. When you first get out, you're on this pink cloud and it's pretty easy, but after a while things start to get real and you have to stay straight second by second, he said, during what would unknowingly become his last interview with RIP Magazine. A night after tragedy struck, Andrew's girlfriend, Zana Lafuente, found him unconscious. He had overdosed. She rushed him to Harborview Hospital in Seattle, clinging to the hope that he would wake up. In her desperation, she called Chris Cornell to tell him what had happened. But it was Mark Sokol, the band's road manager, who picked up the phone. Knowing Chris was about to perform at the L'Amour Club, Mark made the painful choice to keep the news from him until after the show. When the concert ended, Chris stepped off the stage, still buzzing from the performance, only to be met with devastating words. It was a tough moment. Chris was shattered. He was the closest to Andy of all of us, recalled Eric Johnson, Soundgarden's sound engineer, years later in Total F***ing Godhead, the biography of Chris Cornell. Soundgarden still had one last show to play in New Jersey before heading back home to Seattle. Back in Seattle, friends, musicians, and fans gathered outside the hospital, praying for Andrew's recovery. But as the hours passed, the signs of life faded. Eventually, doctors concluded there was nothing more they could do. The decision to take him off life support was made, but Zana refused to let them proceed until Chris arrived. She wanted him to have the chance to say goodbye. 3 days later, on March 19th, Chris finally reached the hospital. He found his best friend lying still, kept alive only by machines. The sight was unbearable. He leaned in close, said his final goodbye, and then watched as Zana played Andrew's favorite album, A Night at the Opera by Queen. Before the end, she cut a lock of his hair, a final gesture of love, then nodded to the doctors. Chris stood there, helpless, as Andrew Wood slipped away. Years later, Chris would confess that he never truly got over it. "I didn't handle Andy's death very well," he told The Guardian in 2016. "After he died, I'd be driving, look out the window, and think I saw him. It would take me 5 minutes to realize that, in fact, he was dead.